Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So in the previous video, we have talked about the normalization, that why we need normalization and how it works. So in this video, we are going to see the further topic of normalization, that is there are the different types of normalization and we will see them in detail. So there are basically four different types of normalization, that is first normal form, second normal form, third normal form and barcode normal form. And in this particular video, we are going to talk about the first normal form, and it is also shortly known as first NF. Right. So now suppose you are having a database of a university, and in that a table having the students entry. Right. And there are some students who are learning multiple subjects in it. So how you will enter your data? So now here is a table which is having a roll number, name and a student column, sorry, subject column. And in that there is a student called Ram which is studying a subject that is C and C++. So we have written it as C comma C++. So this is how you have entered your data for suppose you want to enter this kind of data. But it is not allowed, means the normalization rules will not allow this kind of data to enter in your database. So what is the solution of writing this kind of data in your table? So there are basically three techniques to solve this first normalization. But before that you solve this problem, there should be some properties which you have to keep in your mind. That is, the properties are each table should have a single value. Means this table, if you see that in this column it should only have the one value, means like Java, it should not be like separated with a comma. Each record should be unique, your record should be unique, and also the values which are stored in your column should be of the same domain. So how to solve it? So here we will so here we have seen the properties or the rules, and by looking this table you can say that it is not in the 1NF form, it is not in the first normalization form. So how to use it? So there are three techniques of it. So we will see the first technique. So now suppose this was the table which we have created, right? But it is not allowed as it is not in the first normal form, right? So what we will do is we will create the same table with the having the columns like roll number, name and the subject. And then what we will do, that the column which is having the subject as C and C++, so we will split this subjects and we will convert it into two rows. Means the one row which have contained the roll number, name and the subject, and the another column will have the another subjects. This is how you can enter your data, right? You can see here that it is written here in this way, and we have converted it into two different rows. Now suppose you have created the table, right, and it is only having one value in it. Now if you want to give a primary key to any of these columns in this table, so you can see that in the roll number, name and the subject, there is no unique data, means the 101 is repeated twice, 303 is also repeated twice, here names are also and subject are also repeated. So you cannot give them a primary key. So you can solve it, or we have the another technique, that is technique 2, right? So now we can create the same table, that is here it is the table which is given to you. So now suppose what you can do is you can change this subject to a different column. Means here you can see that there are two subjects in one column. Now suppose there are students which are having maximum two subjects, right? So here what we have done, we have created the two columns which is subject 1 and subject 2, and we have splitted this column into two. Now it is written it as 101 RAM C and C++. So it is having a unique value in this column, and also your properties is also being satisfied. And now suppose here in Java you can say the student name Raman is studying subject Java, and the another subject is not allotted. So if you will skip that subject, or if you won't insert it value, so by default it will give you as the value as null. So this is how you do the second technique, or you can perform it and create the table. Here if you want to give a primary key to this particular column, then you can give as the roll number are the unique value and the no values are being repeated, right? But what the problem comes in the second technique is, now suppose here there are two subjects, right? So if there are n number of subjects in the university and the students are learning n number of subjects, then you have to give the columns as n's columns, means this is the table which I will create. So there will be n number of columns. This is one subject, 2, 3, 4, so on, right? So you have to create multiple columns for multiple subjects, right? And also there is no problem for that. But now here, suppose for Raman it is only studying one subject, that is Java. So for subject 1 only the data will be inserted, but the rest of it will be given as null, right? So there will be more null values which are represented in this table, and this kind of representation is not appreciated and it is not a good representation in our database. So this is the problem which occurs in the second technique, right? So how to solve it? So we have another technique, that is technique 3. You can also use this technique if you are having a minimum, that is 2 tables, right? But the third technique is, now suppose you have this table called roll number, name and subject student. Now if you see the connection between these in this table, then the roll number is giving us the name, means it is the identification of the student also, and by the roll number also you can see that which subject is being studied by which student, means the roll number is the identification for the name as well as for the subjects, so that we can know. So what we will do is, we will create a table in such a way that the roll number will be common in both the tables. Means here I have created this table 1, suppose this is table 1 and this is table 2. So I have created two tables, and for two tables roll number column is common. So here roll number and name is the columns, and here roll number and the subject 1 is the column, or you can simply say as subject, right? So this is how you can create the tables, and with the help of the primary key and the foreign key you can give the reference of this table to this table. Means you are giving a primary key to the roll number, that is for this table it is primary key, and the roll number for table 2 will work as the foreign key, and with the help of the foreign key you can link this table with this table. And what is the primary key and the foreign key all? So I have discussed it in my previous video, that how the primary key and foreign key works and what is the relation between them, so you can go there and check it. So this is how you use the primary key and the foreign key. So now suppose the primary key table is having a unique value, right? You can see that the primary key table is having a unique value, and in the primary key and in the table 2 there is the foreign key which is having the value related to the primary key, right? But if you will try to fetch the value, then you will only get the values which belongs to the primary key, not to the foreign key. Means if there is an excess data, that is 104, suppose 104 is the data, right, and it is not here in the primary key column, then it won't give you. So this is how these work. So all our requirements are fulfilled. Means now if you see that what are the requirements, that our data should be unique, right? So here our data is unique. Now what the another thing is that all our columns should not be having more than one value in it. Means here if you see that there is not more than one value which is given to it. And another thing, this both belongs to the same domain. Means suppose there is a database called university, so this two table belongs to the same database also. So all our requirements are also fulfilled with the help of this. So this is how the first normal form works and how to solve it. So that's all for this video. In the next video we are going to talk about the second normal form and its function. So thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next video.